Weapons, directed by Zachcregger. This will be a no spoiler-free review of Weapons, directed by Zachcregger. Now, as you probably noticed, I've already mentioned Zach's name a couple of times, and the reason is because back in 2022, Zach gave us Barbarians, which was a phenomenal movie. That's the reason most of us want to watch this movie, and Weapons is Zach's sophomore offering to us as movie viewers. So let's jump into it and see if Weapons is a great follow-up or a great second offering by Zachcregger. Let's start off with the acting. Josh Brolin, Jennifer Garner, supporting actor Benedict Wong, everyone in this movie, especially the kids, because kid actors can completely ruin a movie. But as much as Jennifer Garner and Josh Brolin were the stars of this movie, you can also say that the child actor that was the primary kid in this movie, he was just as important as those two characters. Everybody did a great job. And for that, if you're already counting nerd flags, and you probably see one going up for Weapons. Great acting in this movie. Jennifer Garner did a great job of portraying someone who wasn't exactly having it all together. Josh Brolin was in distress. The kid was trying to protect himself. Great acting across the board. One very strong, enthusiastic nerd flag for Weapons. Now let's move on to the action in this movie. There's a problem. This movie is slow. Now this movie is slow, but it's also a slow build. It keeps you on the edge of your seat and it keeps you tense. And I think that's what Zachcregger does very well. Normally, I would have to give this movie no nerd flags. If you're expecting, well, no nerd flags for the action. If you are expecting a movie that's constant jumps, constant being chased, constant people jumping out from behind bushes with butcher knives, that's not what Zachcregger's looking to give you in this movie. There was a lot more action in Barbarians. This is a very slow build that actually does a great job of having you jump out of your seat sometimes, does have good jump scares, but it's really got great pacing. So because of that great pacing, because it's a very different kind of action, because you can understand that's what Cregger was going for, that's what he delivered, that's two nerd flags. One action, one acting. Off to a pretty good start. Now, let's take a look at the special effects in this movie. The special effects in this movie, I love practical effects. There are scenes in this movie that have some practical effects. There are some computer-generated effects. If you're looking for gross out, if you're looking for that visceral where you want to turn away, you don't get that very much. But there are scenes in the movie where you're just like, make it stop. That's how you feel. This movie does a great job of keeping the special effects believable, using them to move the story forward, and also giving you moments where you want to look away, but you absolutely don't look away because you are completely engrossed by what you see. So if you like good practical special effects, keep in mind this is not a special effects fest. The thing about this movie is what we're going to get to next, is the story, is the pacing, it's the craft. And I do have to say, that's 3 nerd flags out of a possible 4 for Weapons. Now let's go into what I will always tell you is going to be the most important part of any movie, and that's the story. This is a good story. To me, it's very challenging to tell you what you're going into because there will be no spoilers. It's not necessarily a horror movie, though it does have aspects and components of a horror movie. I'm going to describe it as a twisted fairy tale. The reason I say that is because, as I mentioned before, the child actor in this movie, the kid in the movie, Alex, is just as important, perhaps if not more pivotal, than the adult actors in the movie. The story, in a lot of ways, does revolve around the Jennifer Garner character. Josh Brolin is also very important, but let's say a lot of things that happen with a lot of phenomenal supporting cast. That story is built upon Alex, and because of all of that, I'm going to have to say it's a good story. It's a great story. Now, see, here's the problem. There are holes in this plot. I had the opportunity to watch this movie premiere with one of my friends who is a phenomenal film critic. I'm just a nerd with a camera in front of his face. And once he and I started talking about it, we both came to the conclusion that there were a lot of holes in this movie, in the plot, in the storytelling, that leave you with a lot of questions. And even though one person could say, like, hey, you know what? It's better to walk away with questions. Yes, but not when it makes you think, well, that simply did not make sense. And that's a huge problem with this movie. It's a great movie. Face value. Don't walk out and discuss it with folks and ask why this happened but not this happened, what was going on here, why did someone see this but not this person? Because if you do, you're going to ruin it for yourself. But if you take this movie and you sit down and you watch it, then you're really going to enjoy it. Another thing about the story, I've seen some horror movies as of late, I'm looking at you 28 Days, that simply disappointed because they tried to go in and build upon conceptual ideas and ideas of maturity and growth and societal norms and who's really the enemy and who's not. Cregger does a great job of making you think, what's the message in this movie? You can take it that way with discussion, or you can just watch some really cool things happen for 2 hours and 17 minutes. Either way you do it, you're going to have a great time. So good job, Zachcregger. I am giving this movie 4 very enthusiastic nerd flags. If you're going in expecting a slasher, then put your money down, donate it to a good cause, but that good cause will not be Zachcregger. If you're going in looking for a movie that has a lot of laughs, a lot of scares, a good story that keeps you on the edge of your seat wondering what's really going on here, Weapons is directly hitting its target. So I definitely say 4 nerd flags. Really excited about this movie. So excited I can barely keep the words in my mouth moving the correct order. Definitely check this out. You're gonna have a lot of fun. It's gonna make you walk out really thinking, man, I want to watch that again, because there's a lot more for me to catch the second time around. 4 nerd flags, on point, hits the target, other dad jokes. Go ahead and check it out.